Okay, so last week I wanted you to at least get your boxes drawn, your layout for how you wanted the bug parts to kind of be drawn, and then try to get at least 2 or 3 drawings done for the first step of your project. So here, whenever I worked with you guys last week, I think that I just had these 2 items drawn. So I had drawn a square here and drawn like the little pincher of my bug, this little hand part. And then in this diamond shape, I did the face of the bug. I just zoomed in on those areas and went in and added that. So the next part that I wanted to focus on was to make sure that I had 6 squares. That way I had room for 6 drawings of the same bug. So I did 2. And then I had, I drew another line here, so that would create a 3rd box. I have a box here behind the diamond, which would be 4. Here is my 5th box here, and then I have number 6. So I have my boxes laid out, and then I have at least 3 drawings done. So I still have to create 3 more. One for this box here outside the diamond, another one here in this rectangle, and then another one kind of in this space as well. So you can decide on what areas you want things to be focused in on. Okay, so on one part, I just kind of zoomed in on the face. One, I did the pincher. This box down here at the bottom of my page, this long one, I end up doing like just the bottom part of the bug and just kind of like the side version of him. Okay, so you can kind of decide how you want to lay it out. And then I just kind of did my drawing of my boxes in pencil for now. That way, if I wanted to draw a bug part that looked like it was kind of coming out of the box, I could still erase it and go back and do that. So as of last week, well, on Saturday, you should have had at least 3 drawings done and your boxes laid out. So when you move on to the project this week, your next step is to, finish the other 3 drawings of the same bug. Okay, so these are all that mantis bug that I was working on earlier. And then you also want to make sure that you go in and you add the color based on the photograph that you have in the bug. I know that right now this one's black and white because that's what the school printers print off. When it gets to that point where I'm ready to color, I'll end up popping it up on my computer screen so I can base it off of that. You're welcome to use the watercolors that I gave you in your to-go packs. You also got a set of colored pencils you're welcome to use. You can do a mixture of both, kind of like what we did for the gnome project before you left and before we went remote. So that choice is up to you. When you do go to color things in, if your bug is like a white bug, there's not as much for you to color, but also it gives it a little bit of, it's hard to see in some of your drawings when you guys have submitted them because you've got a white bug against a white background. So if you've chosen a bug from the email that actually is white, maybe with like brown spots or black spots, take the time and color in your boxes around it. That way you can still see your bug. It'll make it look like it's popping out. Also, when you go in to do like the coloring part, some of you are not coloring in the lines, okay, which is kind of disappointing for me. I would think that as a 7th grader, you should be able to do that. So like when you're using color pencils, if that's what you decide to use, really take your time and go in and color it thoroughly. So making sure that you're really using the colored pencils and apply, like a nice layer, make those colors really pop out. Some of you probably chose the bug you did because you liked the colors that it had. So when you were going in and you were coloring with colored pencils, like some of you are just kind of doing this and then you're coloring outside of your lines. I would expect that more from an elementary student. As a 7th grader and knowing how much we've worked on this and the fact that I had you split this into a 2-week project, I was really honestly hoping to get a little bit more coloring skills out of you. So there's some of you, when you've submitted your work, like they've come back really awesome, and I get really excited when I open them up and see them. Others, I think you need to take some time and more effort is needed to go back in and be able to do this. So I split the project up over 2 weeks in order to do this because I didn't want to overwhelm you and I wanted to give you enough time to really do a good job. And now that we're going to be remote, until January 11th, I really feel like you have enough time at home to sit down and be able to work these things out and be able to color in your lines that you've drawn and to really make your bugs pop off. So continue to work on, filling in the 6 boxes, the 3 left over from this week. Once you have all of them drawn, you have all of them colored in, then I would go back in with your straight edge and maybe the black color pencil, or if you have Sharpie at home, I know I didn't include them in your to-go packs, but really go back in and darken up your boxes, okay? Just taking that extra step to go back in and really make these boxes bold is really going to add another level to this project. So taking the time to darken up those boxes, even with a colored pencil, or like I said, with a Sharpie. I wouldn't do it with a Crayola marker if you have those at home, because if you're doing watercolor, the Crayola markers will bleed into your watercolor because they're a water-based marker. So you'd have to use something that is alcohol-based, like a Sharpie. But go back in and go over those boxes and really make them stand out. If you have any questions, I'll be on Google Meets this week on Monday and Wednesday for the odd number classes, and then I will be on for even number classes on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So I will see you guys then.